Ravan is remembered as a demon, but the moment Ram killed him, Ram became guilty of one of the gravest sins in all of Dharma. And the temple built to address that sin is Rameshwaram. Most of us know Ravan as the 10-headed demon king of Lanka, the villain of the Ramayana, the one who abducted Sita. But that framing misses something critical about who Ravan actually was by birth. Ravan's father was Vishrava, a great Brahmin sage. His grandfather was Pulastya, one of the 7 Saptarishis born directly from Brahma himself. This makes Ravan the direct great-grandson of Brahma. In the Varna system of ancient Hindu society, your birth lineage carries spiritual weight that persists independently of your actions. Ravan could be a tyrant in his behavior. He could abduct a woman, wage war against righteousness, terrorize the 3 worlds. But in terms of lineage, in the framework that Dharma operated within, he was a Brahmin. And in that framework, killing a Brahmin, regardless of the reason, carried a specific and serious consequence. It was called Brahma Hatya Dosh. Now here is where it gets philosophically interesting. Ram knew this before the war began. He knew who Ravan was. He knew the lineage and he fought anyway because Dharma demanded it. But Dharma also demanded something else after. Let's be precise about what Brahma Hatya Dosh is because it is often misunderstood. Brahma meaning Brahmin, Hatya meaning killing. Together, it names the act of ending the life of someone from the Brahmin one. In Hindu philosophy, it is listed among the Panch Mahapataka, the 5 gravest sins. Now this does not mean a Brahmin could never be killed under any circumstances. Dharma is not that rigid. Ravan needed to be stopped. The war was justified. Ram's arrows were righteous. But Sanatan Dharma holds this idea that even a justified act can leave a residual consequence. Think of it not as punishment but as an energetic debt, an imbalance created fabric of karma that must be consciously corrected, not avoided. This is actually one of the most sophisticated frameworks in Sanatan philosophy. There is no such thing as a consequence-free action, even for God. Every act creates a ripple. And the mark of a truly dharmic being is not that they avoid consequences, it is that they face them honestly. Ram was an incarnation of Vishnu. He could have said, I am above this. He could have claimed divine exception. No sage would have challenged him. He didn't. He chose to be accountable. And that choice, that specific deliberate choice is what Rameshwaram was built to honor. So what did Ram actually do? This is the part of the story that almost nobody tells in full. And it involves a mission to Kailash, an impossible deadline and a decision made on a beach that still shapes how millions of pilgrims worship today. Ram consulted the rishis and the Agastya Muni, the greatest sage of the south, advised him. There was one way to cleanse the Brahma Hatya Dosh. Install a Shivling at the southern tip of India at Rameshwaram and perform a specific worship within an auspicious Muhurat. But not just any Shivling. Ram wanted a naturally sacred linga brought from Mount Kailash itself, the abode of Shiva, the most sacred source. He sent the only being capable of making that journey in time, Hanuman. Hanuman flew north toward Kailash, but the journey was longer than expected. On the shore of Rameshwaram, the Muhurat was approaching. In Vedic tradition, a Muhurat is precisely calculated window of time when planetary positions and cosmic alignment create the conditions for a ritual to carry its full power. It cannot be postponed, miss it, and the entire intention is compromised. Ram waited. The sages waited. Hanuman had not returned. It was at this moment that Sita ji did something that would become one of the most quietly powerful acts in all of Hindu mythology. She walked to the shore. She knelt in the sand, and with her own hands, she shaped the sand into a Shivling. Think about what is happening here. The most sacred object for this ritual, a Jyotirling from Kailash, is on its way. And it being replaced not with gold, not with stone, not with marble, but with wet sand from a beach. Ram did not wait. He worshipped the sand Shivling with the Muhurat. Agastya Muni guided the ritual. It was completed. This Shivling made from beach sand by Sita ji's hand is what stands today as Ramalingam, the primary deity of the Ramanath Swami temple, one of the 12 Jyotirlings of India, worshipped by millions. And then Hanuman ji arrived. Hanuman ji had crossed the sky twice. He had been to Kailash and back. He had done everything he was asked to do. And he came back to find the worship was already over. He was hurt not in anger, in grief. He felt he had failed his Lord at the moment that mattered the most. He tried to remove the sand shivling. He tried with his hands, he tried with his powerful tail, the same tail that had set Lanka on fire. He could not move it. The sand held. And then Ram, in one of the quietest and most profound moments of the entire Ramayana, did something that tells you everything about who he was. He installed Hanuman's Shivling, the one carried from Kailash right beside Sita's. He called it Vishvalingam. And then he gave an instruction that holds to this day. He said every devotee who comes to Rameshwaram must worship the Vishvalingam first before they worship the Ramalingam. So the next time you visit Rameshwaram and you are told to bow before the Vishvalingam first, you now know why. It is Ram honoring Hanuman's effort permanently for every devotee across thousands of years. If you are finding this meaningful, subscribe. We go deep on every story. And stay with me because this entire narrative is actually philosophically teaching us is something very few people articulate clearly. Let's step back from the story and look at its structure. Ramji had won the greatest war in history of the world. He defeated a king who was described as unconquerable by gods and demons alike. He was returning home after 14 years of exile. The entire cosmos was celebrating. And he stopped. He didn't say, I'll address this later. He didn't say, I am Vishnu, this doesn't apply to me. He stopped, sat on a beach and addressed a spiritual consequence that only he would have known about. And no one could have held him accountable for it. This is the philosophical core of Rameshwaram. Sanatan Dharma does not give its greatest figures a pass. It says, the greater your power, the greater your responsibility to the laws that govern all of existence, including ones you find inconvenient. Ram's response to Brahma Hatya Dosh is not mythology. It is teaching model for how dharmic being relates to consequences. You don't escape consequence by winning. You address it honestly, and even when no one is watching. There is also a second layer here, worth sitting with. Some traditions hold that Ravan, despite all his actions, had performed extraordinary tapasya and was a devoted Shiva Bhakt, and that by dying at Ram's hands, he received the rarest of blessings, liberation delivered by Vishnu himself. In his reading, Brahma Hatya Dosh is not about guilt at all. It is Ram choosing to honor the full spiritual complexity of who Ravan was, not just the villain, but the Brahmin, the devotee, the scholar. Both interpretations exist. Both are considered valid. And that coexistence is itself very Sanatan. The same event, viewed from different levels of understanding, reveals different truths. There is one more part of Rameshwaram that completes the story, Agni Teeth, the sacred waters at the seashore, right outside the temple. This is where Ram baths before the ritual, and today every pilgrim who visits Rameshwaram begins here, bathing in the sea at dawn before entering the temple. It is not just physical cleansing, it is reenactment. You stepping into the same intention that Ram stepped into. I am here, I acknowledge what needs to be addressed, and I am ready to worship. Inside the temple, the 22 sacred wells, the teeths, follow. Each has water at a different temperature and mineral composition. Some sweet, some slightly saline, some cool, some warm, despite all of them existing on the same island, surrounded by the same ocean. Each bath corresponds to one of Ram's arrows. All 22 complete a full purification. So the next time someone tells you Rameshwaram is just a pilgrimage destination on a list, you can tell them it is one of the most deliberately designed spiritual accountability systems in all of Hindu tradition, built because a god who could have walked away chose not to. So the next time you see the long corridors of Rameshwaram, don't just see architecture, look at what it was built to hold. A moment of accountability that a god chose for himself. A sand shivling that outlasted a mission to Kailash, and an instruction given to Hanuman that millions of people follow without knowing the story behind it. That's what Sanatan Dharma does. It puts truth into stone and ritual so that even if the story is forgotten, the act of remembering remains. What surprised you the most in this? Was it the sand shivling, the Vishvalingam instruction, or the idea that even Ram chose accountability? Tell me in the comments, I read every one of it. I'll see you in the next one.